Hey, this is Jim with Silent Sales Machine Radio. Welcome to September 2024. The year is flying by. We've got some new content here, some new announcements for you as part of this podcast episode today, this weekend update episode. And then we're going to get into some previously recorded content that will really be very helpful for you, especially if you're on the newer side of the listeners to this podcast, or if you're new to our community, you'll want to listen to this whole show today. But if you've been around a while, the second portion of our show today, which is just a few minutes from now, it's probably stuff you've already heard before, but the announcements are important. So here's the announcements for everybody. This is important stuff for everybody. We've got a virtual conference coming up September 27th and 28th. Circle it on your calendar. There's already 1,100 people in the private Facebook group where this event will be happening. We'll be giving you details on how you can join us. We've got a bunch of great sessions that will all be recorded, of course, if you can't be there with us live. But you'll want to be part of this group. Our annual live conference is so much better than the virtual. Just the interactions and that sort of thing. That's coming up in May. And I'll give you more details on that in a moment. But our September 2024 virtual conference, it's happening on the 27th and 28th of this month. You'll want to be a part of that. Look for details in the show notes or go to our private Facebook group, which is completely free. There's a link at silentjimdotcom to get into that free Facebook group. 77,000 of us in there. You'll see announcements on all the important things that are coming up. Now, let's talk about our live event in May of 2025. It's the last 3 days of May, 29th, 30th, and 31st. Just like last year, we're going to have dozens of great breakout sessions. We had about between 750, 800 people there last year. We're expecting a similar size crowd. It's going to be outstanding, guys. You've got to make plans to be there with us in Orlando, Florida. Come down, hang out with a bunch of fellow business building warriors. Those are the big announcements today. We've got a lot of other cool things happening. We just launched our proven wholesalesourcing.com mastermind, provenwholesalesourcing.com. It's not too late to jump in there if you'd like. They've only had a couple sessions so far as I'm recording this. They're all being recorded, so you can get caught up very easily. And there's ongoing mastermind for those who want to focus on selling wholesale on Amazon. So don't miss that as well. Lots of other cool things happening around here, but I'm not going to go into it. Make sure you're on our mailing list. If you're not getting email from us, go to silentjim.com, sign up for our emails, and do this. If you haven't seen an email from us in a while, get into your email inbox and look for maybe some older email from us. Open those emails, click the links. That tells your email service provider that you want to receive our email. If you don't click those links, you're eventually going to get purged out of our email database. We do that very intentionally so that we're only sending email to people who want to get it. If you don't open our email, we're not going to send you anymore. It's going to happen automatically. So you got to get in there and look for emails from our community. Look for me, Jim Cockrum, and search that name in your inbox. Find some emails, open them up, click some links. All right, that's what I've got for announcements today. One last little thing. We've got a free book for you. If you've never grabbed it, I've got an absolutely free offer for you. This is no strings attached. There's no shipping and handling, nothing like that. Go to silentjim.com/free11, the number 11, free11. That's version 11 of the Silent Sales Machine book. That's the book that launched this community. We'd love to get it into your hands absolutely free. There's a couple different ways that you can do it there. If you're new around here, especially, that's the book that's the foundation of this community. Over 1 million copies sold. We updated it and we're giving it away completely free. Go check it out. Now, if you're new to this podcast, you should know that most episodes are not like the one I'm doing right now. We have hundreds of episodes where we've interviewed the successful students from our community. ProvenAmazonCourse.com students have been interviewed, hundreds of them, sharing their stories, sharing what works, sharing the reality of building a business on Amazon, and we love bringing those to you. But today's episode is a little different. This is more of an announcements/introduction to the community. That's what we do with our weekend episodes. So as you're going about your business on the weekend, you can get caught up on the latest if you've been around a while, which is what I've just done. And then you can also, if you're new around here, continue listening and hear some great live interaction from Monday sessions. We love to gather all the newest members of our community on Monday. It's a free Zoom, and you can be a part of that anytime you want to. There's a link each week inside of our free Facebook group at silentjimdotcom. You'll find a link to the free Facebook group. Jump in with us on Monday evenings, ask your questions, but we love to go over some very introductory content each week. And that's what we're going to hear the rest of this recording. If you continue listening to this podcast, we start off with what some people love to call the gym-fomercial portion of the evening, which is where basically I just give a complete overview of who we are, what we do, how we can help you, and why you should be listening to what we have to share. Basically, if you're interested in using the internet to build a beautiful business, you want to use the internet to build something you can be proud of, you want to jump in on the lowest hanging fruit opportunities, lowest risk, lowest cost, lowest learning curve, highest odds of success business opportunities. We've identified those. We think it's Amazon. We can prove it's Amazon, actually, and we show you exactly how to get into it. The opportunity is expanding. That's what we start off with the rest of today's episode, is me kind of giving an overview and then covering some basics. And just know this, we're so glad that you joined us today. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you're new around here, keep listening, because we're going to jump into a great recent Monday night recording that's going to be very helpful to you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Let's get into it. Here's the gym-fomercial portion of our evening. Those of you who have done this 2, 3, 5, or 50 times with us before, this is a lot of the same stuff you already know. Bear with me. We got a lot of new people here today. Our group grows by around 150 to 200 people, our Facebook group, every week. And that's because good news travels fast. This is the most success-filled, creative, and I would say most established and what's the word I'm looking for? We've been doing this longer than anybody. We've been teaching e-commerce and Amazon seller training longer than anyone at this point. Believe it or not, we've got over 20 years on our e-commerce coaching program with 60 of the best top students that we've recruited and turned into coaches. This has been the only income that my family and I have had as we've raised our kids, and now 3 of them are married. I got a grandkid, but like back when they were all just little, tater tots, this is all I've done for 22 years is earn money online and teach other people how to do it, raising up some of the most creative leaders along the way that really love this community and learning from them. So what we've wound up with is a group of core leadership that really knows their stuff. They're using the internet creatively, making a lot of money, very open-handedly sharing with others. It's an abundance mindset community. We do not see you as a competitor here this evening. That's why we do this for free. We see you as a future relationship, partnership, maybe a doorway into new opportunities. You've got something you're going to train us at some point. And the ratio I've discovered after doing this for 20 years is about 1 out of every 10 to 15 or so people that we help build a great business winds up pouring some significant value back into this community. So it actually serves us well to serve you well as you're getting going. And Robin Joy is a great example of that. She's on the screen right next to me. And she was a formerly clueless newbie with her husband who called himself the king of not getting it. Well, now they're coaching team leaders, build a beautiful business, creating content, and helping move this community forward. So a little bit more about the gym-fomercial, and we'll jump into some content, introduce you, and let Robin Joy tell us maybe about Kickstart and some other things that are going on around here. But some bare basics about this community. Like I said, we've got a free Facebook group. We'd love to have you be a part of it. If you're not, it's 76,000 people from around the world who are using the internet creatively to launch and grow businesses. We love multiple income streams around here. We love businesses we can be proud of around here. And the place we start the vast majority of our students is Amazon. Why Amazon? Because that's where half of all transactions any given day in the United States are taking place. Some people say, well, is it saturated, Jim? No, actually quite the opposite. It's growing so fast that it's hard to even fathom the numbers. Amazon right now has 1 billion ASINs plus, like 1.3 billion. And as Brian, Robin Joy's husband, points out all the time, like it would take you 32 plus years to count to 1 billion. And the thing I like to point out is by the time we got about 100,000 in, the whole game would have changed anyway, because Amazon's adding new products constantly. And you can sell against those. And millions of people shop on Amazon. There's never been anything like it to hit our culture. E-commerce is still less than 20% of all retail. The game has barely begun. And we're seeing success stories constantly in our community as a result of those who follow the trainings we have. We start you off as a clueless newbie, we step you through the process, There's multiple strategies you can get into, but we start everyone with the same basic strategy of helping fill the underserved shelf space at Amazon on everyday common items that are easily sourced. And if you have to go back and listen to this recording again, if it sounds like I've said all these things 1,000 times, it's because I have. And as a reminder, this will be a Saturday episode of our podcast too. So if you want to hear me kind of go through and break down what this community is, yeah, you can hear it on that show once a week on the weekends typically. Last thing I want to tell you about, and we'll jump into the content, is our Proven Amazon course. If you're not a proven amazoncourse.com student yet, for $39 a month, you get everything the smartest people in our community know about how to succeed on Amazon. Multiple modules. We start all the newbies in the same exact place, though, unless you've got a really unique advantage coming from a place of experience that means you're qualified to drift off the path a little. We're going to start you in the same place that 99% of our students start. And that's, like I mentioned, helping fill the underserved shelf space at Amazon's hundreds of warehouses. It is a robust, exploding opportunity, and we can get you trained on how to do it the right way. There's a lot of mistakes you'll make if you try to do it on your own. We see that all day, every day in our Facebook group, people who are trying to do it on their own, bumping their head, stubbing their toe. We want to help you avoid that. That can be expensive and it takes a lot of time. So get into the Proven Amazon course. And then once you do that, you have an option to get into a Kickstart group.
I'm Robin Joy, and I would love to talk about Kickstart. I am just having such a great time doing these Kickstart groups. What it is a 4-week program where people who are just getting started, we're always saying, take action, make sure you move. Don't just sit there and watch or try to, get stuck in the getting ready to get ready. Take action. Well, people want to know, what action do I take? I'm ready. Well, where do I step my foot? Well, that's what Kickstart is for. So if you come and join us in a Kickstart, it's a group of people who are learning together. We help you get through getting your account open if you don't have a seller account open, getting your Keepa account open, which is, we talk about Keepa a lot out here. This is the only tool really that we feel that you really need. But we will talk about a couple of other beginner tools that you might be interested in during that Kickstart program. We're also going to help you find one item. We're going to take you through kind of one rep through the process. So you know what to expect kind of mechanically about what do I do with my stuff when I get it? How do I get it to Amazon? How do they know it's coming? And how do they give me the money back when that particular thing sells? So we're going to show you how to find that item. We're going to help you to prep that item so it's ready to go into Amazon's FBA warehouses. And then we're going to help you make a shipping plan and pack that up and send it into Amazon's shipping FBA warehouses so it's up for sale for someone to buy. Pardon me. We're going to do that all in 4 weeks. And then at the end, we're going to give you some tips about how to get started organizing yourself so that you can do this over and over and over again. That 4 weeks has 4 live coaching calls with me. Those are group Zoom calls like this, only with the group that's in your Kickstart program. We are going to have live Q&A during those calls. We'll also have Q&A in the Facebook group while you're, so if you think of something you were able to work late at night and we're not on a Zoom call, you can plug in your question in the Facebook group and then I can answer it the next morning.
We had Sylvia actually said Kickstart was so helpful for her. I'm reading her comment that just popped in. Said, Robin Joy is a super trainer coach. I completely agree. And she just started last month and she has 40 ASINs already and her first sales popping in. I love it. We love to hear it. And I love the fact that this is real people. If you join us live on a Monday, you can see, I don't like to give last names, but you can see the real names, real people. These are people in our Facebook group. You can interact with them. You can follow up with them. You can build relationships. That's what this community is all about. One of my favorite things to say when we gather at our live annual conferences, for example, which, by the way, we're the longest running Amazon seller conference in the world. We've been doing Amazon seller conferences longer than Amazon's been doing them. So we've got our 13th coming up May of 2025. The link is theprovenconference.com, by the way, if you want to plan. But the point I was making is one of my favorite things to say at the beginning of those events is, as we look around, last time we had about 750 or so people there. You're not in a room full of competitors. You're in a room full of people that are rooting for you, that want you to succeed. We know that rising tide is going to raise all ships. So we want to hear your story. All right, we got some great comments popping in already. And one of them was someone asking about merchant fulfill, Robin Joy, and like what are the advantages? Just a general blanket. That was before we even turned on the recording tonight. Because what you'll notice is in our Facebook group, there's several chats that have started. And you can jump into those and you can interact throughout the week. Some people like having being in a slightly smaller group. They're nervous to post a question in front of 76,000 people, which there's no reason to be nervous about that. I mean, we get dozens and dozens of great comments and questions every day. But some people go into these little chats and, well, someone left that question right before we started tonight. So we're going to talk about merchant fulfill a little bit tonight. And then we're going to get into your questions, guys. So I wouldn't mind hearing, Robin Joy, balls in your court.
All right. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about merchant fulfilled, FBM, as opposed to FBA. FBA is when we send information, items into Amazon's warehouse, and then Amazon sends that to the customer after the customer buys it. They store it for us until someone buys it. That's FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. Fulfilled by merchant or merchant fulfilled is FBM. And that is when we do sort of like the eBay model. Okay, so you get the order, you see that someone's ordered it for you, and you put it in a box, in a package by itself, and send it to the customer directly. That's fulfilled by merchant. Now, a lot of people use that, especially like in the fourth quarter when you just can't get your stuff into Amazon. You know, they have a pretty close cutoff for when Christmas, when you can have stuff available for Christmas. But if you have some available that you have at your house, that if somebody orders them, you can send them directly to the customer. Sometimes it helps you get some more sales because, they run out whatever was in there by the cutoff into the Amazon warehouses. Some things run out, and then you have them in your house, and you can go ahead and sell them. That can be very helpful. Now, there are some rules about how new people can sell during fourth quarter in FBM. So check those out if it's your first year in fourth quarter. Check those out by searching in Amazon Seller Central. But if you want to do FBM, it can be very profitable. Just remember, somebody has to pay the shipping, either you or the client. So if you include that in the price, then the customer is paying it, but it has to, the price has to be up a little bit higher so you can still get your profit out of there. If you pay it yourself, then know that you're taking that out of your profits, okay? Then you have to set up a shipping plan. So I do recommend there's a little bit of complication to it. So if you've never done it before, I recommend that you get with somebody who has done it and have them kind of help you out.
I'm really excited to see the nice turnout and we got a couple questions popping in. It's a good time for us to illustrate kind of that pyramid of opportunity where at the lowest level, you got the lowest risk stuff that really helps you build a foundation, learn the basic skills needed. That's helping Amazon fill the underserved shelf space at hundreds of warehouses. There's huge opportunity there. We've got people with multiple seven-figure businesses doing just that model. My favorite podcast episode, possibly. I've got quite a top 10 list where they kind of battle out, but one of my favorites is 754. Podcast episode 754 at silentjimdotcom/podcast. Go listen to it. It's Kang, who has a $3 million replens business completely automated by some software that we've made available to a couple hundred people only at this point, and they're loving it. It's going to be available to the whole community soon, and it automates that lowest level of the pyramid, that replens model, that model of selling everyday boring items easily sourced from retail stores or from online legitimate sources. Maybe we could talk about that too. That's always an interesting topic. But make sure your inventory is legit where you're sourcing it from, retail or online, and then just helping fill the underserved shelf space. He's completely automated. He's got 2 people who works in his warehouse, 2 virtual assistants finding new ASINs. That's it. And this software. Go listen to episode 754 of our podcast at silentjim.com/podcast to hear more about that. And visit this website, silentjim.com/the system has the latest. silentjim.com/the system, all one word. That'll get you up to speed on that. But that's just the lowest level. Then from there, like Robin Joy mentioned, now you've got that established. You don't have to build the 7 figures, obviously. I'd like to see you get to $10,000 or so a month in sales before you even start thinking about doing anything else. Wholesale, branded bundles, exclusive deals, approaching, brands that are poorly represented or misrepresented on Amazon and getting some exclusive deal with them, perhaps, right? Those relational elements, slightly more risk, slightly more work. You're going to find yourself striking out a little more often, but you've got the skills now to navigate those types of things, all the way up to maybe launching your own brand, private label, or doing consulting at scale, which people in our community do. But that's the pyramid of opportunity. More pay potential as you climb the ladder. You could build more of an asset, maybe, that can be sold to someone else someday as you climb that ladder of opportunity. But you don't want to start off in the middle or at the top, because it's just going to be a source of frustration for you. 95% of the people, for example, that start off trying to do a private label brand on Amazon, no matter what courses and coaching and training and tools they've got, 95% of them fail and end up with a garage full of stuff they can't sell. We don't do that here. We do everything we can to throw speed bumps and stop signs and dig ditches and moats and prevent you from falling into that trap. Some people do it anyway, but it's not because we push them in that direction. We try to talk you out of that. We want to start you with the basics, where millions of people all day, every day are basically using Amazon for convenience and speed and don't care a whole lot about the price. And there's just a lot of underserved shelf space at Amazon that you can help fill. Simple business model. We want to teach you that first. That's what our whole system is built around. All right, that's the end of our weekend update. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're so glad you joined us. Hey, a couple action items for you. If you haven't gotten into our free Facebook group yet, or you haven't checked out the Proven Amazon course yet, or you haven't scheduled a call to talk to us, a half-hour completely free call where we just talk through where you're at, what resources we have to help you, everything from free to very inexpensive. We're talking just a few dollars resources that we'd love to get in your hands, or maybe you want a one-on-one coach. You can do all of that at silentjimdotcom. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Jump over there now, look for those links. Let's have a conversation, get to know us a little bit. Thanks for hanging out with us today.